Hi, second graders. Happy Thursday. It's time for a little more Lulu today for our afternoon. You'll notice my house is starting to look like our classroom, but that's not a bad thing. It actually makes me very happy because I miss all of you very much. But let's keep going with Lulu. I know we took a little break yesterday, but when we last stopped, Lulu told Fleischman that he could be her assistant. So she decided she needs his help. She's hiring him. She's going to pay him. Let's see if it works out. Do you think they're going to work well together? Personally, I'm not so sure. They don't seem to get along, but maybe she really needs the help. Let's see. Chapter 18. On Friday, and for the next 2 weeks, Lulu, along with Fleischman, walked the dogs. They each took turns making dog biscuit trails for Brutus. They each took turns coaxing Pookie by tooting the flute. And they each took turns saying the most flattering things in German to Cordelia to persuade her to come out of her hiding place. And as long as Fleischman was there, the dogs behaved. Lulu didn't have much to say to Fleischman. She didn't want Fleischman saying much to her. But on their third Friday together, after the dogs were returned to their owners, Fleischman tapped Lulu's elbow and said to her quietly, "We make a good team." Big mistake. Lulu stopped walking and started scowling at Fleischman. She put her hands on her hips. She narrowed her eyes. "Fleischman," she said to Fleischman, "I want you to listen, and listen carefully. We aren't a team. We will never be a team. I'm the dog-walking boss, and you are only my assistant. Comprende?" Comprende is Spanish for, "Do you understand?" But why, you may very well ask? Did she say it in Spanish? I really don't feel like discussing that right now. Fleischman nodded his head to show that yes, he understood. And then he turned and silently headed home. How do you think Fleischman feels? Chapter 19. Patrick, Preston, Polly, Pete, money for my special treat. Julie, Jackie, Jenny, Joan, money for myself alone. Money, 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 money. Lulu sang a money song as she hurried to Brutus's house on Monday morning. Fleischman was usually waiting for her outside. Except today, there wasn't any Fleischman. Lulu gave him a minute. And then she gave him 2 minutes. And then she gave him 3 minutes. 3 strikes and you're out, Lulu said to no one in particular. After which she announced, "So what if Fleischman isn't here? I'm going to walk these dogs all by myself. I know I can walk these dogs all by myself." Do you think she can walk them all by herself? Let's see. She took a deep breath and said out loud, sounding a lot more sure than maybe she was, "I'm ready to walk 3 dogs all by myself." And I have to admit that, for a little while, Lulu actually looked as if she were ready. Because Brutus followed obediently as Lulu dropped biscuits and made him a dog biscuit trail. Pookie listened politely as Lulu coaxingly tooted her flute, after which she, as in Pookie, not Lulu, pooped. And Cordelia, after Lulu said some gooey blah blah blahs to her in German, was persuaded to waddle out of her hiding place. But as soon as Mr. and Mrs. waved goodbye to their Cordelia and closed the front door, the morning got worse than it ever had been before. Lulu, standing under a tree, said to the dogs in one of her bossiest voices, "Okay, let's move it. Brutus, Cordelia, Pookie." Except she forgot and rhymed the pook part with book. This, as you may remember, hurts Pookie's feelings, which, as you may remember, you don't want to do. Uh-oh. Pookie, leaping up high into the air, fastened her pointy teeth onto Lulu's jean jacket, holding on tight and yelping at the same time, while Cordelia slipped out of her collar and went dashing back onto the porch, where she hid herself deep, deep down in the pile of junk. As all this was going on, Big Brutus, who wasn't as dumb as he looked, circled wildly around and around the tree trunk, wrapping his leash around it just as tightly as Lulu had done on their very first walk together. And Lulu, who had been leaning against the tree as she tried, and kept failing, to shake off Pookie, discovered, too late, that she had been totally tied by Brutus's leash to the trunk. Totally, utterly, absolutely, embarrassingly, humiliatingly tied. Oh no, she's got Pookie biting her, Brutus tied her up, Cordelia is who knows where. Not great. She couldn't move her arms. She couldn't move her legs. She couldn't chase after Cordelia or shake off Pookie. And she certainly couldn't untangle herself from the leash, still attached at the other end to Brutus, who was standing just out of her reach, triumphantly woofing. And if you find it hard to believe when I tell you that Brutus tied up Lulu on purpose, remember who's in charge of this story? Me. Lulu wriggled and wriggled, but she couldn't get herself loose. So, after a while, she stopped wriggling and began to think about what she could do to get loose. And after a longer while, she started wriggling some more. Until finally, after feeling that she had been tied forever to the trunk of that tree, Lulu saw, well, you know who she saw. Fleischman. Yep, there he was, good old Fleischman, strolling slowly down the street playing You Are My Sunshine on his flute. Just the person Lulu did not want to see. Just the person Lulu needed to see. Just in time to take another time out. Which is also just in time for us to stop today. So we'll see if Fleischman can save Lulu if she decides that she really does need him to walk these dogs. Maybe tomorrow. Have a great afternoon, everyone. I miss you guys.